before I continue, can I get the 5, 6, 7?
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, so my name is Gabrielle Martinez, and today I'm going to be talking to you about milk. So you may all hear that and be saying to yourself, what in the world could I have to persuade you about milk? Well, I'm going to explain a little bit further, but first off, I'd like to get off by starting you guys to all close your eyes and imagine. Actually, I'm just kidding, so you guys can open your eyes. I'm not going to have you do that for a very important reason. The situation that I'm going to describe is one that I believe about 90% of you have probably gone through. And that is that when you were growing up, you were probably told by an adult, a physician, or just heard in the general through media that drinking milk was healthy for you, that it promotes strong bones, and it's a great source of calcium. But I'm here to tell you today that you guys were all lied to. That in fact, through my speech, Got Milk, and if you do get rid of it, it's a lot of misconceptions and wrong information that has been shared to you. So first, before I begin, I'd like to give you some background knowledge about milk in general, and all this information I got through SaveOurBones.com, drmercola.com, or Debunking the Milk Myths. And the first bullet talks about a study done by Dr. Robert Thomas, who wrote the book, The Calcium Lie, and in it he describes that calcium as being the major mineral push to support strong bones, when in fact, if that's the major mineral push, it actually leads to osteoporosis and bone fractures, which you'll see here what osteoporosis is, especially if you're pushing calcium found in milk, because what that ends up doing is milk is genetically made for a calf to increase its weight about 8 times within the first year of its life. For those of you who don't know, a cow is born about 100 pounds, and by the end of the first year, he's going to weigh around 800 pounds. So the fact that we're drinking it has a lot of negative side effects, one of them being the protein you find in milk called casein. What proteins do to your body is it makes your body more acidic. And when that happens, your body tries to return itself to normal. And the way it does this is through calcium. So the calcium that you're now putting in your body, which a lot of it is rendered insoluble due to the pasteurization process of milk, is now being used to return your body to homeostasis. So it zaps through the calcium that you've just drank, and now it's going to start pulling it from other places of your body. One of those being your bones, because that's a major source of calcium in your body. So then you get bones that once looked normal and now have major holes in the bone matrix, which is osteoporosis, which leaves it much easier to get fractures like you see over there. Another thing that milk has is tons of calories, because it's made to put on weight for the baby cow. In about 3 cups of milk, you have about 438 calories. In a country battling obesity, especially childhood obesity, I don't think this is something that promotes a healthy lifestyle, especially in a research that was conducted in 2001 that showed that the average American child drinks about 104 quarts of milk a year. And all these are just pictures that relate to what I was just talking about, such as the obesity fractures and then the osteoporosis. So now that I've talked to you about some background knowledge, I'm going to go through the couple of main points that I'm going to talk to you about today. One of those being the negative aspects to drinking milk, which I touched briefly upon. I'm also going to go through some common misconceptions, the myths and facts, as well as comparing the healthy alternatives in a graph that I have for you all. So, starting off with the main point, milk is healthy for you, right? So the first myth is that milk gives me strong bones, when in fact that's not true. A lot of studies have been shown that the higher the consumption of milk, the higher rates of osteoporosis and osteoporosis-related fractures. And America is one of the highest consumers of milk and dairy products, and we have also a very high rate of osteoporosis. So you can see a correlation here. Another myth is that drinking cow's milk is natural. We've been doing it for forever. When in fact, we're the only animals in the mammalian kingdom that continues to drink breast milk past infancy. And not only that, we're drinking another species' breast milk that's not even meant for us. I don't know about you, but that sounds a little weird to me. And even just taking an example from our closest relatives, primates, who stop drinking milk in infancy, they don't suffer from osteoporosis like we do. So you may ask yourself, why does that happen? And that goes into my next myth, which is milk is a great source of calcium, which in fact is not true. There are 28 common fruits, vegetables, and seeds that have higher sources of calcium, as well as higher sources of the minerals and vitamins needed to help grow strong bones and just be healthy in general, such as magnesium, phosphorus, and vitamin D, which is the main reason why our relatives, the primates, do not have osteoporosis, because they have a very heavy vegetable and fruit-based diet. Now moving on to the graph, so I can compare some of the different alternative choices you have out there, now that you know some of the reasons why milk is bad for you. I have 4 different alternative choices of milk for you guys. Them being almond, rice, soy, and hemp milk, and to the right you see cow's milk. My right, or your guys' right, my left. And I'm comparing 3 different things, calories, fat, and sugar, And you see immediately cow's milk should jump out to you as being one of the highest ones for calories. It clocks in at about 145 calories, and all the other alternatives are about 60, with rice being the lowest at 45 calories. And then we have fat, which once again cow's milk clocks in the highest at that as well. And not only is it the highest in fat, it's the highest in saturated fat, which all the other 4 options have no saturated fat whatsoever, which is the worst fat for you. And for sugar, you do have soy's milk actually higher in sugar than the cow's milk. However, I've given you 2 other options, the rice and hemp, that have absolutely no sugar. So you still have better options than cow's milk for you. And now moving on to my fear appeal. So in case you haven't been turned off milk, I think by the end of this you might be. For those of you who don't know what else is in your milk besides just your regular dairy, in every glass of milk you have pus, which your FDA, your government, allows there to be a certain amount of pus in. To be exact, it's 135 pus cells, which they euphemistically call somatic cells, just so it kind of goes over the heads of most people. They also put bovine growth hormones, which you see that's what it does to the cows. And they have to put antibiotics in your milk because of all the bacteria, the pus in it. If you were to drink it just the way that it is, you would get sick from it. So these antibiotics, you may be thinking, oh, it's good, they're killing the natural bacteria that I have in me. And that's exactly what they're doing. However, the bacteria that you all have in your gut is called good flora. It's good for you. And what the antibiotics do is they kill that, leaving you more susceptible to other diseases. It also has some acidic protein, which leaches the calcium from your body. And that is a picture of how the pus gets drained, but obviously it's a little clogged up, so some still remains in there. And then these are the 28 vegetables and fruits that I was talking to you about. Pretty common, so you guys can all get them. So now I hope to end my speech with a call to action. So how many of you, after hearing my speech and the inconsistencies and lies that you've been told, will completely stop drinking milk? Okay, so a couple. I know it's a lot to ask for, so how many of you at the very least will maybe try some of these milk alternatives and share the information? Okay, well thank you.
What was the time?
I thought you were allowed to turn.
All right, Kristen,